Niglosh from the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. And I'm still here at nemoa, and I wanted you all to meet Debbie Roth.
Good morning.
And you are one of the owners of Japs-Olson.
Yes, I am.
So how did you happen to get to that spot? I mean, tell us the history, because I know it's a great history.
Okay, so Japs-Olson is over 110 years old, and it was started by Mr. Japs and Mr. Olson.
A printing company.
And it's a
we
printing
forgot
company.
to tell them that.
Yes, we're printing, and we're commercial printers specializing in direct mail and direct response production. Anyways, over 110 years ago, Mr. Japs and Mr. Olson started the company, and there's a young lad by about the age of 13-ish or so, ended up becoming their very first employee. And he was a young guy, but you know, back in 1907, there were a lot of things happening in this country. One is that we were in kind of a depression, but they didn't call it that back then, because things were not going well economically.
Gold standard.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And Montana, the United States opened up Montana for homesteading. And this kid's family ended up going there to homestead. And he came back after he dropped his family off at 13 years of age by himself and started working at Japs-Olson, and he stayed at the, probably at the YWCA or YMCA or something like that. Well, he learned the business and eventually worked all of his life there, and he happened to be my grandfather. And now, many years later, the company is now owned by myself. I have a couple brothers and a couple cousins.
And they're really nice
excited.
people. They're like
Very
nice
excited.
Minnesotans. If you've ever been there, you'd know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. We welcome you to come and visit us.
Right. They give great tours.
Yeah.
Not many snacks, at least not when I went. But
He was on a diet.
how many pieces of mail and print did you end up doing last year? I know what your goal was, but how did you do on that?
We did really well. Our mailing has been growing every year for the last 6-7 years. And last year, in 2018, we're proud to say that we mailed 1.3 billion pieces of mail out of our plant. Right,
and that's like 1% of all the mail, of all the ad mail, I think. I think it's 160 billion a year. So you're right up around 1% of the whole volume of the U.S. Postal Service.
So we can certainly accommodate more work.
Yeah, well, what I was impressed with on the tour was that you had some setups that were even short run, and that you have some incredible flexibility from, we should ask you, what's a long run for you? What's a short run for you? What's your favorite size job to do?
Well, we're a little bit different than a lot of different print companies because we can go from one piece to the tens of billions of pieces. We have that kind of very large and wide flexibility and versatility with many different kinds of working platforms. We also go from the digital sheet fed and web digital presses to our litho sheet fed and web presses. Most of our presses all have online personalization, as well as many of them have inline capabilities as well.
Yeah, do you do turn of the drum personalization, or do you just do like inkjet or maybe change a black plate or something?
Oh, we do both.
Okay.
Okay. When you're talking about turning the drum, you're talking about changing out.
Yeah, like 4-color image changes on one piece with one picture and another piece with another picture.
Yes, and those are usually accomplished depending upon the project. That will be done either by the plate or by our digital web hospital press.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Good. Wow. Okay. Now I had a couple other questions. If I were talking to people here at nemoa, what would you say? And I said, what would your favorite type of client be? I know that you don't do as many catalogs as some of the printers here, right? But what's your favorite kind of project?
Well, because what's different about us is that almost every project is custom. So we have done things that it's just a one letter, simple postcard, to multiple page, highly personalized piece in the tens of millions, as well as many kinds of catalogs.
Oh, you do? I didn't think you did catalogs.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We have the versatility to do a lot of different things.
Okay. Now, there's the big news in the industry, of course, is that LSC and Quad are supposedly getting together. How do you think that's going to affect, another? I guess you're not as big as that they would be when they join up, and you don't do roto, or do you? Right?
No, we do not do
right.
that.
Although maybe you could pick up a cheap newspaper press.
Not
get
into it. Quite that. No,
what?
I don't.
You don't want to do that?
We don't think that's a good niche for us.
Some long run links. Anyway, what do you think? Without getting you into any trouble, do you think that'll help your business? Because I know some of the printers here were saying that they thought people would leave Quad and LSC just because of the monolithic monstrosity that would be.
We don't know how it's all going to play out. Every time there's a merger or an acquisition, there's a buzz in the marketplace, right?
Yeah.
And until it kind of sorts itself out, you just never know. But I know that we are available, and if people are very concerned about the stability of any of those kinds of acquisitions, we're a privately held company.
That's right. For a long time.
And we have been able to enjoy essentially organic growth, not an acquisition growth. So I think that it's interesting times in our industry, that's for sure, in the marketplace.
Well, so if you've got run lengths that are under 1 million, I would say for sure you're going to have challenges with the new monstrosity. Because I printed it with Donnelly, and ran it 200, 300,000, and it was just kind of too small for them to pay attention to, I have to say. When I got up into the millions, then they treated me really well, but we had lots of trouble finding press time when we had a short run, and with a catalog, a pretty long setup.
And that's the difference between some of those kinds of companies, the R.R. Donnellys and the Quads and stuff, is our versatility.
Right.
Going from small to very large.
Right. So there may be some real good opportunities for you.
Absolutely. In fact, we just finished...
I'm going to check these people out.
We just finished adding on additional 200,000 square feet of plant facility.
Yeah, she made me walk through the whole thing. I needed a wheelchair. It's a big place.
So now we're over 700,000 square feet. So to put that in perspective, that's over 15 football fields.
Of course, now, the biggest problem is, like in Minnesota, you get snow, like mountains of snow. I was up there in February, right? It's the greatest snowfall ever for February. So do you close down every day like they would in Dallas if they got 2 inches of snow, or are you pretty much open?
Well, that's a great thing about Minnesota, right? That doesn't even make us blink.
You don't even care, right?
Well, it doesn't
so
even make
what?
us
We get
blink.
a foot of snow.
Yeah, exactly. It's already gone. We're used to that type of a thing.
See, so when they just had the Super Bowl a year ago, and when they had the first Super Bowl in Minneapolis, I know that they argued that their airport was open more than Atlanta or Dallas, which you'd think of, but those guys shut down for no good reason. Whereas we in Minnesota and Wisconsin, we got snowplows.
That's right.
We got salt. We got everything. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so they can.
And we
take
don't
care
dump
of
it into the lake either.
I know. Yeah, they don't actually salt much. My wife goes up there. She says, "I can't drive up here. They don't even plow. It's not true.
Where, Minnesota?
Plow.
Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness.
All my kids are up in Minnesota now. It's just terrible.
It's the best place, right?
Okay. Well, that's about all I've got to think about.
Well, this is
no, I had one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Lindmeyer sponsored the CEO breakfast. You should have been there.
I wish I could have made it.
CEO or something, aren't you?
No, I'm Vice President of Sales and Marketing, so feel free to give me a call.
I can get you in there. Dana would love to hear from you. But they were talking about how there's a bunch of paper companies that are shutting mills down, especially in Europe. But also central Wisconsin just shut one down by Mosinee. And has that affected you any?
Well, right now there is a challenge with the paper mills. There's no question about it. As you know, for many years they have been losing money, and so now they see by reconsolidating and restructuring, a lot of these mills are shutting down because of efficiencies, and that is happening due to a lot of reasons. And so now they're seeing that this is a great way to adjust their pricing model so that they can be making money. And so it is a challenge right now, but we've seen these cycles before. Will it be the same way?
Yes, we have. I mean, especially if you go back to 1907.
Right, exactly. and you've experienced some of them too.
Well, I don't go back quite that far.
We wear it well.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyways, but there are cycles as far as the tightening of paper and the amount of paper in the marketplace. Most of the paper that we use here at our place are not the real foreign kind of mills. They're more
local.
They are more local, and that's what the river helped.
Yeah, Minnesota and Wisconsin, it's exactly. America's paper capital.
Capital of the world,
yeah.
Yes.
And if you're not in paper, if you're in digital, we had a great presentation just now by Wambi Rose from Love Pop, which makes greeting cards that open up and pop up, and unbelievable, just the creativity. And they decided to do a catalog, and one of the industry experts critiqued it and said it was terrible, and but they made money and they want to expand it. So if you're in digital and you haven't explored print, you really need to get into it. It's today, print is where it's at, and the digital is getting so expensive and the cost of acquisition is high. You're actually better off in print. Now, and you say, he's nuts, he's an old guy, what does he know? But the truth is that if in 1995 I would have told you, yeah, you've got a sales force or you've got a catalog, you should get into the internet, and everybody thought, yeah, I'll wait. This is a passing fad. That would have been wrong. Well, now it's the opposite. It's time to get back into print. And if you don't know how to get into print, give me a call. Give Deb a call.
Absolutely. And, when you were talking about, it is about a lot about what's in print, because we know that with print you engage longer, your reaction increases, the memory recall is stronger.
Lifetime value is better?
Absolutely. And it's also very interesting. It is the king of response.
Oh,
year over year, not by just a little bit, by huge amount from all the other digital channels and social media channels combined. And there's some really interesting statistics out of the 2018 ANA DMA response rate book that just came out 6 weeks ago.
Right, and the CMA survey showed that people are getting a lower percentage of sales from their digital channel than they had been in the past. So digital is actually declining as a percentage of sales. Well, that's all we got time for. Like and share. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.